Growing up with Asian parents, I was always taught to aim for perfection. I was a typical C plus kid when I was going through elementary, but when I got to high school, it became serious. As expectations pile up from my parents telling me that this is gonna be my most important years of your entire life, so I shrugged it off and studied the best I can while mixing self-improvement as well. And when I got back my report card, I wasn't satisfied. Some of my grades were B, A's. Well, my friends get like A's, 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 A's. It was like I failed in my eyes. I wasn't worth it in my eyes. I didn't meet the expectations, the goal. I failed the goal of getting A straight. This is when I started to adopt a new type of mentality. It's called perfectionism. Perfectionism is a term used to, it's a belief used that everything should be perfect. I set a high bar of expectations to myself in studying around 5 to 10 hours every single day just to get A's and to impress or please my parents. I failed in my eyes because I set the bar too high. It wasn't because I was lazy that I failed. It's because it wasn't realistic at all, and that's why I failed. The topic is, how do we handle failure? I set the expectation high, yes, the grades, A plus, A's, whatever, just above average or 90, 90, 91, 92, 93. But it was a standard that I shouldn't lose. I should always keep winning, right? That's the point of life. I started seeing failure as a negative trait instead of a positive trait. And while it brought me successes to most of my subjects, I got A's, I got A pluses, I was afraid of failing. I didn't know how to pick myself back up if I fail at a certain subject. It's unpredictable. Sometimes you fail at life, sometimes you don't. But all I could see is success, success, success. Because I thought the analogy of self-improvement, we always go up, right? The thing is, part of life is ups and downs, ups and downs. So throughout grade 7 and grade 8, I was always afraid of failing. I was always afraid what my parents would think of me. I was always afraid of what I would think of myself. And I was always afraid of societal expectations. And so this is why I wanted to make this video, for not only for people who has a lot of expectations in their studies, their parents, their families, their friends, but this is also a message to future me that I have to also be wary of this trap of perfectionism, that everything has supposed to be perfect to you. This is also a reminder for me that even if things get hard, even if I go through hardships, I go through hard times, I go through failures, I go through failures in my business, my school, my relationships, I would like to remind myself that it's okay to fail, because that's life. We learn our mistakes from it. Without mistakes, we wouldn't be able to learn about the things that we are doing wrong. There's a quote that kind of resonates with me. Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. Quote from Confucius. What it means is that we should accept that self-improvement is not gonna improve our lives. It's not gonna make us make an easier life for us of some sort. It's just toughening yourself. It's just toughening your brain to handle failures, to handle a harder life to come. I learned that life doesn't get easier when you do self-improvement. But as we challenge ourselves, we can see how much we fail at basically anything. We learn to accept that failure is a part of human being. So like I said, as we challenge ourselves, we start to fail even more. And as we start to fail even more, our brain and body, soul adapts to that failure. The more we fail, the more we learn to pick ourselves back up when we fall. When I said to myself that it's okay to have setbacks, that's when I started to remove negative thoughts. That's when I started to realign myself, to self-believe myself that I am a capable person. And this also highlighted that if I accept failures and I accept myself, I feel strong, because I always learn how to pick myself back up again after that fail. And I continue to fail and fail and fail again until I succeed. Failure builds the self-belief, because the more you fail, the more you're showing to yourself that you're still capable of something, that you are still failing, and you haven't given up. You're still here. You're still present here. It's resilient. It is showing yourself that even amidst the crisis, even amidst tragedy in your life, you can still go on. Think of failures as training in the gym. You're doing bicep curls. Start with 10 lbs. Now you start curling till failure. Then the next day your muscles are sore. So the soreness equals the pain of the failure. It's only a small pain. Of course, failing is gonna sting a little bit. However, after you have recovered that muscle yet, you have built a stronger muscle. You have an adapted muscle to that 10 lbs weight that you are lifting. This is actually also when you avoid failures. When you avoid failures, you are gonna get more insecure because you don't know your potential, and you will also have less knowledge of what it feels like to fail. Failures are like the lessons in life that we have to learn, that we have to face, even if it's painful. Just like breakups. That relationship did not work, move on, and learn something from it. There's some kind of a learning in failing itself. Some people want to say that they want to slack off today, do whatever the shit they want, and then tomorrow they'll start working. It's always the tomorrow excuse. And then when they arrive tomorrow, they slack off again because, well, it's unmotivating again, and they said, oh, I'm gonna study. The next day, they're gonna study for 24 hours. The way to handle setbacks in self-improvement is to lower the bar. What I mean is to not put the work tomorrow. Just do bare minimum today. Just bare minimum, like just type around one paragraph of YouTube script, or just read one page of a book. And that's gonna be like the average for you. That's gonna be like a normal day for you. Like the comparison between two different people. The first one is slacking. Like they aren't doing anything at all. Like no good habits. And they are saying that they're gonna do the work tomorrow. Like they're gonna over exhaust themselves, and then the next day they won't be able to work again. However, if you build the minimum today, if you do the minimum work today, at least you did something rather than nothing. Because the thing is, this type of advice that I'm giving to you, this type of advice, when you do the work today, that's good. But if you do the bare minimum today, that's also good. You just have to do something to set the stage. If you really can't do the work today, then just do the bare minimum, because it helps to set the stage for tomorrow to come. So you slowly start to build that progression. Today you do the bare minimum. Today you do 30 seconds of meditation. Today you do 1 minute of reading, or something like that. You can invent yourself. But anything bare minimum. Just do the bare minimum that you can do today. And then tomorrow you're ready to progressively overload that thing. Today you progressively deload, but tomorrow you will progressively overload the rut that you are living in. So like I said, it really helps set the stage for tomorrow to come. And then when you do the bare minimum today, you will do more work tomorrow. Then the next day you're gonna do more. And then the next day, and so on and so forth, you're gonna do more. The equation is consistency is greater than volume. Because if you just increase the volume, the consistency lowers. It just subtracts. But if you increase the consistency, slowly the volume starts to increase as well. And that's how you set the stage if you fail. Now this video is gonna be like basing on failing in self-improvement, but in life in general, if you have any setbacks, if you can't do school works today, if you're really tired and lazy today, just do the bare minimum. The biggest rule of self-improvement is to never rush the process. Balls or something, or whatever, but like, for me this advice has gotten me out of bed. Even if I'm struggling with both types of failures, I'm still in bed, which is rut, still scrolling through Instagram, rut again, and I feel like I failed. Like I feel like I failed in life because I couldn't do this work. Just the fail that we talk about in winter So whilst combating the failure that I am experiencing right now, which is a lack of motivation right now for me, I have to acknowledge that I failed. Like, I'm not gonna just sit down and talk about, oh, I didn't fail at this. I'm not just gonna baby talk myself out of this thing, but I have to be raw as possible and figure out the problem why I'm not motivated and figure out some steps to overcome that failure. It's not about just standing there and doing nothing and let the failure just pass you out in life. We also have to take action, steps, in order to avoid this kind of mistake again. So that next, it would be kind of still possible to still slack off and be lazy, because you can't really avoid failures, but it would be less because you have taken the time to journal, you have taken the time to visualize that and foresee it. So action plan. If you don't feel like doing the work right now, if you don't feel like doing anything basically, just start at the bare minimum. You can do that and start building up from that. So I hope this video serves as a lesson to not be down when you fail in life. There's a lot of successful people that fail in everything. They fail, they just endure that. They become resilient to that, all those fails, that they don't even let them affect that fail. That's what makes people successful. Those failures are probably the proof or the methods to prove your resilience to still fight even when you have been knocked out by life. I hope this advice also helps you. If it helps you, please subscribe or just don't. And I just make this video improving my speech, articulating my thoughts, and just basically my journal. And yeah, that's basically it. That's what I learned about failure. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna sleep now. See you guys.